Hi, folks. Nick Shaheen here, recapping the week, ending 6/26. It ended in a tumult fashion, meaning it was bad and it closed not so bad. So I guess for a bad day at the end of the week, it wasn't so bad after all. The Nasdaq led down a little bit on the backs of the semis. You can see a huge down move on Micron and Intel that kind of dragged. But legitimately speaking, we had, if I look at the whole index, the S&P were flat. The Nasdaq was down zero point 0.6 or zero point 0.7. We've got the Russell 2000 that was not so bad, closed way off the lows of the day. So the week ended on a sour note, but not a disaster. It could have been a disaster given what happened in a few stocks. So the disasters were concentrated in certain names. The Dow, in fact, closed up 0.3%, and it was a legitimate up move. What do I mean? The Intel was offset. I mean, Nike, people say, okay, it was up 4%. It was dragging. You can't see it. But that was offset by a huge downfall in Intel and then some. So you've got legitimate move in J&J, Merck, UNH, Home Depot, Disney, Walmart, GE. You can see the JP Morgan, these light red in Apple and Microsoft. So all in all, not a bad way to end the week that could have been a disaster. So what next for next week? I tell you, just based on the data I'm looking at, what has been going on should continue to go on, meaning what? So if I'm looking at the three indices, the major indices that I like to look at, the SPY, the S&P, the Qs, and the small caps, the RUT here. I can switch to IWM to be consistent with the size. We have had a meander trade, and I put up a box here. You can sideways trade, sideways trade. The small caps threaten to break out. So I anticipate that to continue. Even if we have fireworks next week. This weekend is going to be riddled with headlines from Greece. They are going to meet starting tomorrow, their time, and go into Sunday. So we're going to come in Monday with some sort of a headline that we're going to trade. A whoosh down will be bought as long as it doesn't, go too low past the previous cut. We have been catching it at 205. And a whoosh up will probably have legs for about a day or two. Then after that, we're going to revert to watching the actual economic reports. The ECB has, I believe, a rate decision to make, and Draghi speaks, I believe, on Thursday. He tends to move markets more often than not, up than down. We have ADP, basically labor report that comes out on Thursday, short week, so Thursday. But we have a peek at it from the ADP earlier, I think, on Tuesday. So we have a slew of economic reports. We have home data. We have inflation in the Eurozone, which would be important because you get the hawks over there starting to say, how long are we going to do the QE for? So all this is going on, and layer on top of it Greece. So ideally, we want Greece off the headline stream by doing a can kick, a solution, or something. If they actually walk out and they end it and say sayonara and welcome to the drachma, which is a small chance of that happening. If that happens, yes, no one knows what's going to happen price-wise. But that is a slim chance because everybody's got a lot on the line except the Greeks. And Greece has said basically, I'll walk out. What do I have to lose? Nothing. I'd lose a whole bunch of debt. So I think everybody else, they said they're going to stomp their foot, but I think they'll find a way to save face and say, hey, we held them to that. We put capital controls. We did that, and we gave them some more time to, just because for the people of Greece and to save the banks of Greece. They'll find a way. They'll put a positive spin on it. That's my opinion. But the Grexit is real threat to prices, and I think it will throw us for a tizzy for a little bit. So what do? Nimble traders can try to game it, short week and all. Most traders should sit that out and just trade long distance like I have been telling you for a while. How do I do that? For me, I like credit spreads. I don't like to buy premium. I like to sell the premium. So I find areas where prices are not going and I sell them. And I use all the tickers that I follow. I've got a long list of tickers. Mostly when things are iffy, I just stick to the indices because then if you have headlines like Tenet, the move is diffused and not blown out by one headline or another. All right, so a few things to look at, small caps. Why? couple of days now in a row. First of all, they've had a huge run, green weeklies. These are weekly candles. And also, the last couple of days, they closed stronger than the main indices. If you look at today's close, for example, look at the rip into the close yesterday, a rip into the close today from the lows. So that's green shoots. They still closed slightly red, but usually in a real downfall, I expect them to lead down. Okay, so that's the good news. The VIX closed about flat. It was up like 7 or 8%, which was not logical. We have had, efforts to sell, and we're not selling. So we will need a new headline to sell. And the Greek exit is a new headline, although we knew that it was a possibility, but that's a new headline. So possible pop on Monday morning. I wouldn't chase it. I wouldn't short it. I would give it another day before I short it. Now, the economic reports, if they come out positive, we may have a negative reaction to those because then, which is what happened today. As soon as the Greek headlines left, Friday, the end of the week, as soon as the Greek headlines were postponed until tomorrow, traders concentrated on rates. Rates spiked 3.5% up on the 10-year, for example. The bond market dropped. So, and the dollar strengthened, so pricing in a rate hike. So good news in economy, then fewer reasons for Yellen not to move sooner rather than later, and people start thinking September, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, good luck trading. There are a few good, strong points. I'm still long Twitter in the long term. Somebody will figure it out. That trade is slightly green. On any sell-off, I may want to catch Apple. It's a premier company. If I can't risk money on Apple, I have no business investing. There are no Apple-centric issues. Shorting China via some ETF might make sense. I am short one, and it's green. And I do it safely via puts. Easy way to short it. Just buy puts in whatever you want to short. If you want to short the market, buy puts in the market. So Nick signing out. Any special questions, please let me know.